Good morning, everyone. Live stream. I'm happy to be here. And today I wanted to talk about what is the atonement. And atonement and healing, Jesus in A Course in Miracles says, how are they related? He says they're identical. So I'm going to do some graphics today. I'm going to read from some of the lessons. And A Course in Miracles really does tell us there's no time for miracles to occur. So that's always my goal here, is that you experience a shift in perception now. The awesome Bill Free in the house. And good morning, welcome. And so health is inner peace. That's it. Health is inner peace. And so I really want to just show you today how the mind works. I think that's important. And what Jesus says is healing cannot be accomplished until the purpose of sickness is recognized. So I'd like everyone to just take a moment quietly. I want you to think about, what purpose does sickness serve? What's the purpose of sickness? So the purpose of sickness is to keep the truth from you. It's a decision you made it unconsciously, and it says this, it actually says you made it consciously, but the speed by which you make it makes it go unconscious, and then you think sickness is happening to you, and you forget that you asked for it, to keep the truth from you. That's amazing, right? And so that's why miracles don't take any time, because the second you see what you've been doing, it's just fear. You're afraid to be who you are. So if you're experiencing sickness in your life, you're not being yourself. That's it. You're hiding. That's what sickness is. Sickness is isolation. And you're not bad for that. That's just what happened here. We come in as pure, whole, eternal beings, and immediately we were trained by the world's thought system to be separate from other people. We are taught upon the first moment of our entrance here, you're a body. It's a girl. It's a boy. Yay. First thing. That's the first thing that happens when you got here. And then immediately there's the identity. What's the name? So it's immediate. It's no time. And if you don't have a name, they call you baby A and baby B. I'm a twin, and I was supposed to be Christina, and my mom didn't know there was twins coming, and the doctor said there's another one. Okay, I came first, and the other one came second. And we didn't have names. My mom didn't have names for us. So the tags that we have were, actually I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was like baby A and baby B. It was just for that moment, that's what was on those little tags that they put on, those bassinets in the hospital. And then we had a name. And then from the name, then you're given your whole structure of a mother, a father, whether you have brothers, whether you have sisters, and you start believing in yourself as a body. So I'm going to be looking today at lessons. I'm going to quickly go through them because obviously we don't have a lot of time this morning. Lessons 136, 137, 138, and 139. And A Course in Miracles, I was just opened up one of my notebooks this morning, and John Mundy, who most of us know, said when Helen Schuckman used to describe A Course in Miracles, she used to describe it an inspirational book. That's how she described A Course in Miracles. And I love that because that's what it is. It's an inspirational book. It inspires you. It inspires you to remember who you are. And to me, it's a set of instructions. It literally is a map out of hell given to us by Jesus, the guy that walked 2,000 years ago, that same mind that was in him, come back to us in a form that we can recognize. And the instructions in here are so amazing because he's telling us already, we've been living by a script. We have been living by a script of our life, and now it's time for the script to change. This is a script, and this has instructions. So it says things like, today, we will not let ourselves be sad. And that's an instruction. For if you do, you fail to take the part assigned to you by God. So you might think, well, that's just pretending. No, depression and sadness is pretending because happiness is what you are. You're already pretending. So it's giving us these instructions to lead us back to who we really are. So I just wanted to start with this one line from 98. Today is a day of special dedication. We take our stand on but one side today. We side with truth and let illusions go. We will not vacillate between the two, but take a firm position with the one. We dedicate ourselves to truth today and to salvation as God planned it be. We will not argue it is something else. We will not seek for it where it is not. In gladness, we accept it as it is and take the part assigned to us by God. So what it says in here, I'm just going to go to the illustrations now. It says, I'm just going to read the one sentence, then I'm going to backtrack. It says, sickness now becomes impossible. Who believes that? Sickness now becomes impossible. You can't be sick. Okay? And now we're going to backtrack because this is where it gets uncompromising. So, can you see this? Those guys? Okay. I think I'm going to move it a little. Move it here. You can see it better. Okay, my mind works in visuals. So I have, if you've done the 40-day program, you know I have two ways of describing, as an illustration, your location. And so I'm going to show you both of them. The first is I work in circles, and the other one is I work in horizontal, vertical. So this is the first one. Is you in your wholeness. This is you're eternal, you're changeless, you don't have a body, your spirit, your light, your love. There's no name, the nameless. And then around this are emotions. Do we have another pen, Bill, by chance? This pen doesn't work very well. Emotions and thoughts. And then outside of this is the physical. So when you're sick, where are you? So in your sickness, oh, thanks. Oh, excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. They just dropped from heaven.
Yeah, on his knee. Like a diamond.
Ask and receive. So, okay, so in your sickness, you're out here. So, but where are you in truth? You're in the middle. So when you're sick, you literally have to travel outside of yourself to do it. Right? And so this is the prodigal son story from the Bible. You've wandered away from your father's house and from your inheritance. You have wandered far, far away. And here, all you do is keep wandering around here. This is where other bodies are. But in truth, here, this is where we all are, in the one mind that we share. And so healing and transformation in the atonement is to accept the truth of what you are. So we take a stand today on the one side, and we will not vacillate. Someone in the 40-day program yesterday posted this. I love these online programs so much, from the Teachers of God Foundation, and she posted this big poster. She's like in the middle of the 40-day program, and she wrote, "My body has a cold, but I do not." And I was like, head of the class. That's it. Like, you can still experience the body doing things, but you recognize that that is not what you are. And you are constantly coming back to the remembrance of yourself as whole, eternal, changeless. And so the other way that I describe this thing is just, and again, there's no inner or outer. So health is inner peace. The peace is here. This is where peace, power, love, it's all here is what you are. And so what you try to do in sickness is you wander out here to medicine, chants, charms, amulets. This is how Jesus describes it in the Course in Miracles. And you keep trying to heal a part. So you're trying to heal one part. And he says you will be successful sometimes in this, but you won't be fully successful because you haven't healed the real problem, which is that you have forgotten who you are. So our only responsibility as miracle workers is to accept the atonement. And the atonement is to accept the truth of what you are. It's that simple. And does that take time? That doesn't take any time. Can you do it? Who can do it?
Yes.
Who can't do it?
It's hard to stay in it.
It's what?
Hard to stay in it sometimes.
It's hard to stay in it. Okay, so that's the work. Thank you, because that is the work. Because what we do is we keep vacillating between the truth of what we are and the appearance, which seems very real while it's happening. So you make a decision to stand on one side of the truth. So then the other way that I describe it is the horizontal. So it's, you've got born, die, present, moment now, and then it's sort of like a rising up, but it's not. It's like this is time and space. Time and space, which is where all the bodies are. It's where all the stories are. It's where all the judgments are. And the holy instant, this is how Jesus describes it. In chapter 1, he doesn't waste any time telling us how to do this. So what I'm showing you here is not something I make up. It's straight out of A Course in Miracles. And that's why I teach it, because it's available to you. All you have to do is buy the book. Buy the book, make a commitment, do what it says. And so he says, here, in this instant, the holy instant, when you remember your holiness, you remember your wholeness. Holiness is wholeness. You literally leave the location you think you're at. In the holy instant, you transcend your story. You transcend your judgments. You transcend your sickness for that moment. And you all know about this, because in that moment when you're quiet, you notice the pain does disappear. Has anybody had an experience of being in that stillness and still having the pain? Like, everybody's experienced it, right? You have that moment of rest. You're right there. But then what happens is what Becky, you said, the pain grabs you again. So you right back into it. So you kind of cut through all the emotions. This is like physical. And the way Jesus describes it in A Course in Miracles is you leave, so you're everywhere now. You're everywhere and you're nowhere. And what he says is from this point, outside of the frame, you can travel anywhere and drop back in. So you can travel to your past and heal your past. The past didn't happen the way you think it happened. So in the holy instant, when you drop your story, you have the willingness to see things differently. You leave. You leave, you go back, you drop back in, and you actually remember your mother was awesome. And you remember your father wasn't the way you thought he was. You remember, or you see, it didn't happen the way you thought it did. So what Jesus says is, this memory collapses all, this literally collapses. It disappears completely. And in this moment, right now, when you remember your wholeness, who here has a sickness that they would be willing to share about? Anybody? Ha, nobody's sick. That's awesome.
I'm healthy. Oh, actually, I do.
That's awesome. Okay, Jen. Oh, I thought you were getting up.
I called you.
Oh, you, okay. Where's the mic?
Right here.
Come on, Bonnie.
I remember the support you gave me last time I held the mic. Okay, so I've been dealing with back pain
Okay,
since April.
yep.
That's the sickness.
So I have been dealing with back pain. So right there's level confusion, and it's not bad, but it's like, it's important that we begin to see the language that we're using when we say things. So I have back pain means for the moment you've identified with the body.
Mhm.
So I have back pain is here. You're here, and the I that is expressing has back pain. So a miracle is a correction. It's a correction in your thinking, and it literally disrupts the whole thought pattern. So you start to go, who really are you?
Well, the funny thing is, I've had a great morning about listening to music, and I didn't notice my back pain at all.
Exactly. Did you guys hear that?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Which has been a real revelation recently, that when I listen to music, I'm in the moment.
Yep. And that's it too. Like whatever it takes to bring you to that space where you're in the relaxing, because when you're here in the physical or here in the emotional, there's turbulence because you're off center. So you're resisting. You're actually resisting. And all you can do in this place is try to find a solution. But what Jesus says very simply is rest. He says I was looking at these 4 lessons this morning. They're all the same. They literally say the same identical thing in 4 lessons. So what the message is like a hologram. Like but you have to do it. Jesus meets us where we think we are in our story and in our illusion, which is here. And he leads us back in. And he has to do it. It can happen instantly. Like instantly you can remember your wholeness and your holiness. My experience with it is like Becky said, it was a constant falling back into just the pull of the story is so great that it just keeps pulling you back. And so,
Can I just say something to what
tell
you
us
said?
more.
I just want to add to what you said of rest, because it's my experience that rest has nothing to do with what we initially think it is.
Mhm.
It's not like relax,
Yeah.
slow down. That rest is all here.
Yes.
Rest this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's what he says. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. So did you see that? So you might still experience back pain, but you're not deceived by it anymore. There's you as the eternal, changeless, whole love of God. And to me, this is a total experiment, a call for miracle workers. Like, I dedicate my whole life to this work, because what I truly feel is that it hasn't been consistently demonstrated yet, is how I feel. I've talked about this before, the way we always knew the laws of electricity were present. Not everyone, but a few individuals said, okay, we can move beyond using candles and horse and buggy. Like, there's other, and now we fly in planes and it's no big deal. So we switch on light switches, no big deal. We drive in cars, no big deal. We fly in planes, no big deal. If you had mentioned these things hundreds of years ago, oh, that's crazy, right? What do you mean we can access? What do you mean I can talk to Germany right now? I could literally pick up any one of your telephones right now. The whole world's watching. How's that happening? It's a miracle. No, it's not. It's natural. It's just we've tapped into what already exists. So what we're tapping into now is the next thing of healing, where it has to be, he says, I'm calling for individuals to do this, to use your mind for healing, to accept the atonement for yourself, because when there are enough individuals who do it, because it's one mind. It's one mind so when you do it, you're doing it in the one mind that we share, and that is felt and heard and experienced in every mind. Does that make sense? So now it's just a commitment. It's a decision. He said it's a decision you make to be the truth that you are. I accept the truth of what I am, no matter what the body does anymore. Put all your faith in the love of God within you. Like you guys know, like I've had physical symptoms going on over the last couple of years, which takes the form of dry mouth, dry eyes, mucus in the eyes, and I hid for a long time. That's what isolation is. Sickness is isolation. So I was hiding and not exposing that thing to myself, and then putting all my faith in healing of it, and supplements, special diets, don't eat sugar, don't eat flour, use gum when I teach. If you guys watch videos of myself, I chew gum. I put all my faith in trying to hold my identity together so that none of you will know. And now it's a total coming out of the closet and saying, screw it. I am putting all my faith in the love of God within me. And you have to go through a period of maybe criticism or embarrassment or total fear that what will people say? And you are like, I'm going. This is my life work, that I am going to prove these ideas because I know they're true. Sickness now becomes impossible. So my experience has been it's not what I know to be true is some people say to me, well, am I supposed to stop taking the medicine? Am I supposed to stop with the special diets? No. To me, the work is that you just make a shift in your thinking. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep on whatever it is. And what will happen is this light that you are, that has been hidden and concealed by your stories, starts to work on you. It does. And chunks of your thought system start to fall away. And you start to feel stronger. You start to feel these divine ideas coming through. And you start to say, oh, I don't really need to do that thing anymore. Whatever I've been doing. Jesus says in How is Healing Accomplished? It's accomplished the instant the sufferer sees no value in pain. And it says, you can merely rise up and say, I have no need of this. And the whole thing will fall away. You just say, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that crutch. I don't need that story. I don't need that judgment. I don't need that thing that I was holding on to. And this just literally dissolves. You start, whoops, that's the old, this one's not working either. Ha. This one, it literally just, this light begins to dissolve through the appearance and the illusion, and it literally falls away. That's my experience. So my experience is that I never had a total one moment awakening. Mine was gradual. Mine was just it was a moment when I knew there's more. There's more to this life that I've been living. And I just had the small willingness. That's all that's called of all of us, just to have a little willingness to see things differently, to do things differently, to be willing to change. And the way it worked for me is whole chunks of old patterns just fell away. Alcoholism, depression, cigarette smoking, food addiction, money issues. But they happened, it doesn't have to happen over a long period of time, but that's how it happened for me. It happened like little by little. It's like a river. It's like the light, the strength of the river. When it starts rushing in, things just go. You don't have to do anything to make them go. And so I want to read from the Course. What it says in this section, it says, we're gonna do the practice here. It says, this is lesson 136. 136, 137, 138, and 139 all lead up to lesson 139. I will accept the atonement for myself. So if you actually look at all 4 lessons, they all say the same, they use the same words in here. I accept the truth of what I am. And that's leading up to lesson 139. And that's why I'm sort of grouping them all together. But the way it's asked of all of us is to do 1 lesson per day. And just make that commitment. Because when you do the lessons, the light is, you're working with your own Christ mind. That's what these lessons are. That's why I get excited by this. And so sickness is a defense against the truth. No one can heal unless he understands what purpose sickness seems to serve. So let's recap. Where'd that mic go? Do you have it? So what purpose does sickness seem to serve? Who remembers? Separation. What?
Keeps us from remembering.
The sickness keeps us from remembering the truth.
I think sickness serves very well, actually.
It serves very well.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, let's
it's the stressor that awakens us to the perceived problem, and
That's
allows us a sort of a red flag, if you will,
Very
that
good. Yep.
we need to pay attention and
Yep.
change our belief system.
Love it. Yep. I didn't know where that was going, but that is absolutely correct. Like if sickness is going to serve a purpose, let it be that purpose and don't get stuck in it. Let it be that is true. Sickness is a bell, a very red flashing light that says you are off the mark. Jesus says sin is off the mark. You have wandered away from the truth of what you are.
We also define our emotional state as when it's off balance or out of sync or unhappy as sickness, like depression or anxiety. And so that's where we have to work. And that's why, the emotional state is part of being happy or not. I mean, you've got to find the place in your mind where you're attaching the emotions to the idea of sickness. Like you say, you have something that you don't want to tell someone. I have this terrible disease, but I don't want to tell anyone because I'm ashamed.
Yep.
So where do you have that shame? The shame is actually
Exactly. Yep.
there before the sickness was.
Yep.
And it causes the sickness. I've just seen it over and over and over. It's the shame of being a body, the shame of not being able to tell somebody when you're feeling bad, or feeling like you shouldn't be sick.
Yeah.
I had a healing with someone this weekend over the idea that she wanted perfect health and she doesn't have it, or she thinks she doesn't have it. So, but the shame was really at the bottom of it. Like, I'm supposed to be healthy. I'm supposed to be okay. No, it's okay.
Yep.
You're not really healthy right now. Don't be ashamed. Just accept where you are.
Yep.
And that's the problem with some of this, is that sometimes people think, oh, then I shouldn't ever be sick. No, it's not true.
Yep.
You are where you are.
Yep.
But don't avoid the thoughts
Yep.
that you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because that is why this requires a total commitment, and that's why it's got 365 lessons. Like, I'm giving a very big overview right now, but I know all of you here and all of you listening know that this is really about you making a decision to do the work, because what you just said, Monica, is so true, is that you're exposing all your hidden beliefs and thoughts and judgments about yourself to the light. And that's why Jesus says healing is joining. So you're joining with the light you are, you're joining with the light of another. That's why when you say, like in the 12-step program, when you share it with another and you just say, you're opening yourself up now to say, I'm just going to allow this to be seen so it can be healed, so I can forgive it. I forgive myself for these thoughts that I've had. So the judging yourself for being sick, that needs to be healed. So this isn't a place of make pretend now. It really is an invitation to say, I'm not going to let any thought slip by my awareness anymore. Like, now that I'm identifying what sickness is, what it seemed to serve, it keeps us in conflict. It keeps us in the dark. It says we're afraid of the light. That's crazy, right? But we are. And so it says sickness is not an accident like all defenses. It is an insane device for self-deception. And like all the rest, its purpose is to hide reality, attack it, change it, render it inept, distort it, twist it, and reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. The aim, and it's like crazy, right? But that's what we do. The aim of all defenses is to keep the truth from being whole. Defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. They are secret magic wands you wave when truth appears to threaten what you would believe. You would believe you're a body. And when the truth comes in, you're whole, you're loved, you're lovable, you're needed. It's like, no, that's too much. And so these are secret magic wands we wave to keep the truth away. They seem to be unconscious, but because of the rapidity with which you choose to use them, in that second, even less, in which the choice is made, you recognize exactly what you would attempt to do, and then proceed to think that it is done. It is this quick forgetting of the part you play in making your reality that makes defenses seem to be beyond your own control. But what you have forgot can be remembered, giving willingness to reconsider the decision, which is doubly shielded by oblivion. So I talked a lot about this in the 40-day program for transformation. I took it right out of here. It's doubly shielded. The truth of who you are is now doubly. It's not just one shield, it's two shields. So you have to really make a total commitment to do this, because it's like you might get through, like, I like that you said that, Monica, because you might get through one shield, but then you're back to your emotions now. And it's like you got to get through those too. And so you have to work. You have to really be willing to see what is going on in your mind. What are you doing? And then I'd love for us to just do an exercise here.
There's a couple questions online.
Okay. Here,
What do you,
hold on.
There's a couple of questions online. You don't need to put the camera on me. It says, what do you think this course says about birth defects that cause a child lots of pain? That's from Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is, yes, Monica, somebody was speaking to what Monica said. One of my thoughts used to be, if I'm sick, I will not be loved. So I have always tried to resist sickness. That was from Sharon. And thanks for posting your questions online, you guys.
Yep.
I just want to say that I'm back here in the back reading that for Lisa. So do you want to answer the birth defects and then the comment?
So the one about, like, the child is sick. So that's still here. Like, you're still in the physical, seeing bodies and seeing appearances and seeing illusions. But when you get back to here, you are responding now in a whole new way to the child that's sick. But while you're here, that's why always the only responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for yourself. And that's what we're here for. It's not that, see, so often in a spiritual path, one of the biggest mistakes I see is people saying, it's all an illusion, I need do nothing. That is not what this says. This is saying, remember the truth. And now from here, you've made that connection now with the mind of God, and you will be given very specific instructions about what to do, what to say. So I can't answer that question in a general way or a specific way, because to me, it's always coming back to the truth, the wholeness of that child. That child is whole. And then if anything needs to be done, you will be told what to do. What was the second question though first? The second one was great, because that's you recognize, if I'm not sick, I won't be loved.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's what we learned here. You got way more attention when you were sick than when you were healthy, right? We just did. Like, you got to stay home from school, tons of benefits being sick, right? You got all the love, you got the chicken soup, you get to stay in bed and watch movies all day. And so we learn that. We learn as children that the benefits of being sick. Until you come to the place when you recognize you can drop it. You can go eat chicken soup and watch movies all day long under the covers if you want. You don't have to be sick to do it. You can ask for love. You don't have to be sick. You just can be free and do all the thing. People don't have to work. Like, if I'm sick and I have cancer, I don't have to work. Well, don't have cancer and just don't work. Do you know what I mean? Like, start to really see what it is that's going on in your mind, but then you get to be honest with yourself. Then you get to see the fear. Like, I'm afraid, and I have to tell you, like, the system that we're in supports sickness. It just does. So if you are sick, you get to have all these benefits and then not work. But if you're not sick, you don't get the money. I was just talking to someone yesterday, and she has an opportunity to move into a much nicer place, but she's receiving disability. And if she moves into the nicer place, she can't get the disability anymore. So she's going to stay where she is in this place she doesn't like very much. So what Jesus is telling us is that when you want healing, and it means you're going to need to become responsible for what you're thinking and what you're seeing. And so now the choice is yours. Now at least you know. Now you can choose. And where's the mic? Yeah.
As soon as I heard the word birth defect, I thought that's a judgment. That's our judgment that that's a defect. It may, in fact, be a real benefit to that person and help all kinds of people around them. So I think it's our own judgments a lot of times that get in the way of us realizing what the truth is.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Ruthie?
Thank you.
I was a physical therapist for 35 years, and I dealt with handicapped children. And I was in their homes sometimes 2 and 3 times a week, so I really got to know the families. And time after time after time, what the parents and families told me was that this child was a blessing to them. Most of them said they learned that this child was pure love that was being brought into their home, and it was the biggest gift that they ever could have received. So it just, that was a blessing to me to be working with these people and because I thought I was the one that had to heal them. And I began to see that, I was witnessing a healing of myself.
Yeah.
It was, because, physical therapy can do a lot, but anyway, it just, I just wanted to say that it really changed my life to meet these people and to see time after time how 90% of them, there was a lot of anger at first, but after a while, it just became very clear to them what it was about, the gift that was given to them.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you said that, because to me, another ego trick is trying to heal the body. Like, it's the healing is the recognition of the truth. That's it. So people will think, well, I'm disfigured, or I have a disability, or I have a physical something. And the mind then thinks I'm going to heal the thoughts to heal the body. That's still hanging out over here. But when you recognize your wholeness now and the gifts that it brings, you stop trying to do that. You just recognize like the gift in everything. And so that's why healing doesn't take any time, because so often think, well, yeah, it does take time. I don't know, but you might in the next moment say, I still have back pain. But it's like that is nothing more than just the mind's going back to the physical again. And it's not bad, but it's just to become aware of, oh, I am not sick. I, spirit, don't have back pain. I, spirit, don't have any limitations. In the now. Has nothing to do with the body. So you that's why you say, I have no need of this anymore. I have no need anymore to heal the body. But then what happens is, and this is why I love the mind training so much, is because as soon as you make a decision that this is your path, not this, but the path of awakening, the path of knowing who you are, everything that was buried comes to the surface now. So for a moment, it just looks like hell. It just looks like total chaos. But this is what we're here for. I am here for the salvation of the world. I am here to allow those thoughts and buried unconscious emotions to come to my awareness. And I heal them by remembering the truth. That's what it means to be a miracle worker. We had a question with John.
Yeah. First, I wanted to say about your chart, because I love your chart. And
it's a Lisa original.
what I love about it is the emotional aspect of the mind being between the true I am and the physical world means that you can never deal with or equate to the physical world without filtering everything through the emotional mind and back.
Yep.
And so whatever issues you might carry around or beliefs are going to affect that physical world and how you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
So two things to add to that. One, the comment about children, and as a parent, I have a child who has a physical. He was born with birth defects in his feet. And it was interesting to see how little it affected him,
Right.
but how strongly it
That's
affected
so
his
good.
parents.
Yes. Yeah.
And especially his mother, who, trying to be confidential, who had a lot of things that happened to her and a lot of things she did. So she took that on as guilt for what she had done. Which was pretty devastating. And then, of course, that somehow, although I don't know, I'm sure reflects back onto him, because that's how God works, right? So that was interesting. And as he grew up, and I would ask him, like, so how are your feet? What do you mean? Never mind.
That's
It's all
funny.
good.
That's
Yeah. Right. So he was born with them and had never any reference to them being any different. Therefore, they had no real effect on him that I know of.
Yeah.
And then the back pain issue is a whole nother thing. Having injured myself pretty seriously quite a while ago, 86, October 86, I remember the day. So I went from working 3 jobs and doing a lot of physical work, and just there was a lot going on that wasn't healthy in my life. And then I herniated 2 discs, so they told me. Herniated 1 disc, so they told me. It of course put me in bed, out of work for 2 years on crutches. Yeah, right. Yeah, a big 2x4, and cut my pay down drastically. It was 1/3 of one job is how the or 2/3 of this primary job is how it worked back then. So, I almost lost my house. My marriage fell apart. I lost one of my car. It was a mess. And what was interesting was how much trust I put into the physical world, believing everything that the doctors told me.
Yeah.
And although they were correct in what they saw in the body, I don't doubt that. They had, I had all sorts of myelograms and CAT scans and all this stuff, and they were all pretty accurate for the time. What was more important was how it affected me personally. So I went deep in depression and just was not very good to be around for a long time. And the biggest issue was believing in the pain, because the pain was pretty serious. And so I took a lot of drugs because that's what I was told I had to do, which really made it worse because it numbed me out completely. And then I decided there had to be a better way to do it. Something had to give. So I just stopped doing the drugs and learned how to become what I didn't know then what it was, but basically becoming present and accepting the pain and just being in the pain instantly.
I love that.
And I mean, it was right at that moment, the pain stopped.
Yep.
Right there. No drugs. I was in the library. I was reading about pain, and it stopped, and it almost knocked me over. I couldn't believe it. And then, of course, it came back.
Yeah.
And it went back and forth.
Yep. But then you'd had an experience. I'm so happy that you shared all of that, because that is the key, acceptance, to accept, to not resist the pain, not resist the
That
emotion,
was the key, not to resist it. Right. And it's taken, that was in 86. So it's taken, 30 years to work from that to now. And for probably 20 of those years, I carried crutches with me
I remember I met
all
you on
the time.
crutches. Yep.
all the time.
I liked your story, how you said that when I met you, you were on crutches, I remembered.
Yeah.
And then you told me a story that you decided, or you realized, like, oh, okay, I don't really need the crutches, so you put them in your car, and you said they were in your trunk just in case.
Right. And then I got rid of one.
And then, yeah.
And then I was moving one day, purging stuff, and I went, oh, I don't need these anymore.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't wanna
exactly
need
what Jesus says. Like, you suddenly realize, I have no use for this anymore.
Yeah.
But I love how you just had it. It was okay. You weren't guilty for it. It was there. But you were doing the work in your mind. So all
it's
that
totally
time,
in the
it
mind.
was just
Yeah, it's
slowly
amazing.
things falling away.
Yeah. So the injuries are still there. And I've learned since, because I went back to the doctors and had them re-examine all the x-rays and everything. And it actually turns out that I herniated 5 discs. And which explains other pains that they didn't believe that I had in my hands and my neck and all these other places. But I still do heavy work. I still carry stuff.
You do everything. So
I
it
do
doesn't
everything.
limit you in
Yeah,
any
it doesn't
way.
limit me at all. I respect it because I know that the body still has some scar tissue and some injuries in it.
Yep.
But I'm not it. And I don't have to tell the story, and it doesn't need to be who I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not.
Thank you. I'm grateful for all these stories, because to me, this is where you will make a commitment and a decision to not look at the results anymore. It's just like you're suddenly just on the path, you're doing the work, you're watching your thoughts. I just want to read one little thing here, and then I want to take the questions. So it says, truth has a power beyond defense, for no illusion can remain where truth has been allowed to enter. So the invitation is for each of us to just allow the truth to enter. That's all that's needed. The truth has a power far beyond defense. And it comes to any mind that would lay down its arms and cease to play with folly. It is found at any time today, if you will choose to practice giving welcome to the truth. So it requires practice, giving welcome to the truth. This is our aim today, and we will give a quarter of an hour twice to ask the truth to come to us and set us free. And truth will come, for it has never been apart from us. It merely waits for just this invitation which we give today. We introduce it with a healing prayer. I love this. To help us rise above defensiveness. So that's, again, this is This is just how my mind works. It's going to help me to rise above my stories, my judgments, and let the truth be as it always has been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal and keep defended from the light of truth. The truth is light. There will be no dim figures from your dreams, nor their obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes, insanely sought, remaining in your mind. Now is the body healed. Because the source of sickness has been open to relief, and this is what you were just saying, John, is that you will recognize you practice well by this. The body should not feel at all. If you have been successful, there will be no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, of pain or pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains and nothing more. Perhaps you do not realize that this removes the limits you had placed upon the body by purposes you gave to it. As these are laid aside, the strength the body has will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made it serve before. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. And it has one more paragraph, and it says, yet. Okay? So there's a yet in here. And this is what Jesus does. He doesn't wave magic, right. That's funny. He doesn't just wave magic wands and say, okay, you're healed now. He's saying, you need to participate in this. So, you need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. Yet this protection needs to be preserved by careful watching. If you let your mind harbor attack thoughts, yield to judgment, or to make plans against uncertainties to come, you have again misplaced yourself. You move from here. Now is the body well. The body is not sick anymore. You're fully healed. And yet you go back into, well, I still have back pain. And guess what you see? So it's that yet. This protection needs to be preserved by careful watching. If you let your mind harbor attack thoughts, yield to judgment, or make plans against uncertainties to come, you have again misplaced yourself and made a body identity which will attack the body, for the mind is sick. Give instant remedy should this occur by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you longer. Do not be confused about what must be healed, but tell yourself, I have forgotten what I really am. Repeat after me. I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth. But I am not a body. And my mind cannot attack. So I cannot be sick.
Where is that, Lisa? What lesson?
That was 136.
136.
And 137, 138, and 139, they lead up to, I will accept atonement for myself. And it says, from this one point of certainty, it looks on all other things as certain of itself. So for me, it's always a question, where's your point of viewing? Where have you located yourself? Have you located yourself in your thoughts and your emotions? Have you located yourself in the body? From wherever you locate yourself is your point from which you are going to view the world. And you are going to see from the point of viewing. So that's why a miracle is a correction. It's like, come on home. Come on home. Come on back to where you never left. And it says, we have a mission here. We did not come to reinforce the madness that we once believed in. I will accept atonement for myself. What?
Boom.
Boom. Yeah. Only acceptance is asked of you, for what you are is certain. It is set forever in the holy mind of God and in your own. So it says we have a mission here, and it gives us an assignment. And I just love this so much. It says, I love it. It says, now go your way, rejoicing in the endless love of God. It is but this you are asked to do. And it says, this is your assignment for today.
Amen. Boom.
Amen. Boom.
And on a Friday.
Amen on a Friday.
Boom.
It is, so it says, go your way rejoicing in the endless love of God. It is but this that we are asked to do. It is but this that we will do today. 5 minutes in the morning and at night we will devote to dedicate our minds to our assignment for today. We start with this review of what our mission is. So we have a mission. You have a mission. I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. Do you want to do a closing prayer for us?
Me? Sure. Want to read that?
Where's the mic?
Do it now.
Bill's got it. Oh, no.
Which one are you referring to?
This.
This. Okay. In thanks for all creation, in the name of its creator and his oneness with all aspects of creation, we repeat our dedication to our cause today each hour as we lay aside all thoughts that would distract us from our holy aim. For several minutes, let your mind be cleared of all the foolish cobwebs which the world would weave around the Holy Son of God, and learn the fragile nature of the chains that seem to keep the knowledge of yourself apart from your awareness. As you say, I will accept the atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me.
Amen. So let's take several minutes now. So let's just take, thank you, Linda. We're right at the end. And so just close your eyes, if you will. And this is true prayer. True prayer is a song of thanks and gratitude to the Father for what you are. And thanks for all creation in the name of its creator and his oneness with all aspects of creation. We repeat our dedication to our cause today, and we lay aside all thoughts that would distract us from our holy aim. I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. For several minutes, let your mind be cleared of all the foolish cobwebs which the world would weave around the Holy Son of God, which is you. And learn the fragile nature of the chains that seem to keep the knowledge of yourself apart from your awareness, as you say, I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. So invite the truth to enter into your mind. All that is asked is that you accept the truth of what you are. Whole, eternal, changeless. You're all light. And this light knows what to do. Our part is simply to welcome the truth. We are open to change. We are open to acceptance. We are open to remembering. Amen. I love you. Thank you. So now we go our way rejoicing in the endless love of God. This is our assignment. We have a mission here. Our mission is to not reinforce the madness that we once believed in. We are here to demonstrate the love that we are, the light that we are. And that's a new role. It's a new function that we take for ourselves. And the light begins to extend. We're asked to carry this peace and this joy to everyone we meet, everyone we see, everyone we think of. And this is all anyone wants, is they want to be seen, heard, appreciated, loved, and we can give that. Everyone wants connection. You want connection with yourself, you want connection with others. And so now we have a role to play. You rise up and you say, this is the role I was born for. I was born to remember the love I am, the love of God that I am. And to begin to extend it. And as you extend it, it will begin to dismantle your whole thought system. That's the transformation. And you allow it to happen. You allow it to take place. And you're not alone. You guys out there, you're not alone. We're not alone. We have each other. So we use each other. And don't pretend. That's the one thing I can say. Don't pretend you're the love of God and you're happy and kind and free. You don't need to pretend. All you need to do is open your mind up to the truth and allow the blocks to be removed and the light that you are starts to come through. You feel it. So the ego will take an idea like go your way rejoicing in the endless love of God and totally butcher it. Like, I'm going to go be kind to everybody. No, you're going to just be still and allow yourself to see all your little tricks and what you've been doing and be open and willing to let it go. To stop with your defensiveness, to stop with the fear and the doubts. Come out and say, I need help. That's what we're all here for. Don't pretend. Say, I'm scared. I need help. And there's so many people in this room alone who are available to help. With Monica, and there's so many people that are out there. Roxy working with kids like that. You kept quiet back there. That's funny. What's your website?
DrRoxanneDalio.com.
Dr. Roxanne Daly, D-A-L-E-Y? DALEO.com. She works with kids in a big, big way. We did a great radio interview on Unity Online Radio. But this is where you're not sitting on a mountaintop anymore. You're allowing yourself to go through the transformation, and then you're going to carry it. And each one of us has a special assignment. You have your own gifts, your own abilities, and you will use them. You will use them to go reach others. And this is a gift you give yourself. So I love you. I love you all. Thank you. So we'll join in prayer.